Hey, fantasy basketball owners, I'm Michael Pichan. This is Tom Lorenzo. We're at RotoExperts.com, back with you in the Sirius XM radio studios to give you your small forward must-haves, sleepers, and busts. Now, Tom, we've already talked about Kevin Durant and LeBron James, obviously the two top players at the small forward position in our debate over who should be the number one pick video. So please check that out at RotoExperts.com. We're going to actually talk about two more must-have players at the small forward position. So, Tom, who is one of the guys outside of Kevin Durant and LeBron James that you would take?
Yeah, a guy I'm looking at is Danny Granger. I know he's got that injury issues, health concerns, always does, but he's such a huge talent. He's a guy who can score in the high 20s per game. He can actually lead the league in 3 points made. He did attempt 7 3-pointers per game last season, which kind of dragged down his field goal percentage. Hopefully, he'll start taking less 3-pointers, which will be able to up that field goal percentage. His free throw percentage is great. He can shoot in the mid to high 80s. He takes about 8 to 9 attempts per game, so that's a huge plus there. He can give you over a steal, over a block. He can get about 6, 7, maybe even 8 rebounds this year without Troy Murphy. So there's really nothing this guy can't do. The problem is he can't stay healthy. This year, though, he's looking good in the preseason. He's had some really big games, had a 30-point, 11-rebound game in the preseason. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm taking a shot on him.
Yeah, he's definitely a stud, and the key factor with Granger is health. And he's going to play on an Indiana Pacers team that's going to struggle, so they're going to rely on Granger to fill the stat sheet and help them along. So, and then hopefully they'll have some more consistency at point guard. So Granger is definitely somebody that you want to target. But I'm a little concerned about his injuries. So I'm going to target somebody that maybe I can get a little later in the drafts, maybe early, mid-second round, and that's Gerald Wallace. Gerald Wallace proved to us, fantasy owners, that he can stay healthy for a year, and he put up a double-double numbers. Now, granted, his rebound average was at 10, so there's some concern whether he can keep it at 10, maybe go up, go down a little bit, but this is a guy that can perform and fill the stat sheet at pretty much the same level as Granger, but at a cheaper value.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, defensively, it goes Josh Smith, Gerald Wallace from that power forward position, small forward position. I mean, Gerald Wallace has great defensive numbers. As you said, the rebounds are there. You know, the health concerns are also there for him. He did play that full season, but he is a guy whose nickname is Crash. I mean, he goes hard, he falls hard, he plays all out. So there's a little bit of concern, but like you said, you get better value because you get him in the second round, and you can get a stud in the first round, and then take that chance with Granger Wallace, because he can really pay off. So yeah, he's definitely a good guy to target.
Yeah, now who are two people that you're targeting as maybe some sleepers here at the small forward position?
Yeah, small forward position, one guy that a lot of people are talking about that I really like is Nicholas Batum of the Portland Trailblazers. He's a guy who can go out there, he can score, he can hit the threes. He's one of those guys who, if healthy and when given playing time, which he's both, he's healthy, he's got the playing time this year, starting at the small forward, he can give you the 1-3, 1 steal, 1 block. And now that's great value for where he's going later in drafts, 8th, 9th round. I mean, he's a guy, across-the-board production. Nicholas Batum's definitely someone to look at the late rounds.
Yeah, and then who's another sleeper if you're looking at the small forward position?
Yeah, another sleeper I'm looking at small forward position is Darrell Wright from the Golden State Warriors, He's starting at small forward for that team. He's left Miami. He's going to another team, a younger team, more dynamic, kind of in that offensive sense, as opposed to his former teams in Miami. He can really shoot the three. He can get steals, plays good defense. He's also a high-efficient free throw shooter, which you like. But in that offense, you've got Stephen Curry, Monta Ellis, David Lee, these guys penetrating, getting into the paint. He's a guy who can stand out behind the three-point line and get bulk three-pointers, which you like in those 10th, 11th round draft picks.
Well, and he also plays defense, so Keith Smart has named Darrell Wright the starter in place of Reggie Williams, who had a pretty good year last year. So if you can have confidence with Wright in the fact that he's going to start, he plays defense and shoots well. But I'm really high on Batum as well. Batum showed this summer that he can be a go-to type guy. When he played for the French team on the FIBA, he was like a French assassin. He averaged over 12 points, over 3 assists, and over 2 steals. So this is a guy that originally was known for his defense, but now he's showing that he can also perform at the offensive end of the floor. And anytime you can play both defense and offense, you're going to get more time on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, starting at small forward, guys are gone. Martell Webster's gone. Travis Outlaw's gone. So he's got the opportunity. He's there, and he can take that.
Yeah, and another guy that's going to get a lot of opportunities this year is Terrence Williams of the New Jersey Nets. With Avery Johnson there, he's going to fit in well with his system. Terrence Williams can play three positions, so when you're looking for sleepers, you're looking for those people that will be given the opportunity, like Williams will, and also they have the confidence going well. Like Batum had the confidence he got from FIBA.
Right.
Well, Terrence Williams improved after the All-Star game last year, and although the team struggled and he struggled with all the losing in that, they're going to have something to prove this year. With the new coach, with the new arena, new owner, look for them to have a big year, and Terrence Williams is going to be a large part of that. And he proved it post All-Star break with the numbers he has. So Terrence Williams is somebody you can get real late in the drafts. A lot of people are sleeping on him, and don't be that person. Grab him if you can.
Yeah, a great thing too about Terrence Williams is he's a guy who can play three positions. At the end of the year, he's playing some point guard. We know he can play shooting guard. He can slot in at the small forward. So he can play three positions. So, like Michael was saying, he's a guy improved in the second half, but he'll also get his minutes because he's so versatile, which, minutes, obviously, the more minutes could lead to more production. So.
Right, and we've already seen in the preseason, although it's a small sample size, that Terrence Williams recently had a game over 20 points, over 8 rebounds. So that's double his average from last year. So he's showing that,
Right.
given the opportunity and the vote of confidence from Avery Johnson, that he can possibly put up double the numbers he had last year. So that's somebody you want to look for in a sleeper. Now, Tom, unfortunately, there's always those busts in the drafts. Now, who's two people that you feel could be bust at the small forward position?
One guy who's small forward, shooting guard eligible is Vince Carter. Vince Carter had his worst year last season statistically. He had a down season, only 16 points a game. His field goal percentage was down. He had that month in January where he averaged 8 points and shot 22% from the floor. I mean, he was just atrocious. There was a time when people were just outright dropping him. Now you have a situation in Orlando where they brought in Quentin Richardson. They got J.J. Redick, who they like. They gave the extension to. So Vince Carter this season, his name is almost getting him drafted higher than where he should actually be going.
Yeah, and the only name that I'm concerned about with Vince Carter is Vinsanity, because if you own him, he's going to drive you insane. You have no business owning this guy. And I even heard somebody say, well, maybe he can give me them 2001 numbers. Hello, that's 9 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
So, you're wishing on a prayer. So
Right.
Vince Carter is somebody to stay away from. And who's another player at the small forward position to stay away from?
John Salmons of the Milwaukee Bucks is a guy I'm not really thrilled with this year, only because it's a really crowded wing position in Milwaukee. They brought in a lot of talent. They brought in Chris Douglas-Roberts. They brought in Corey Maggette. They already have Carlos Delfino and the forgotten one, Michael Redd, who is never healthy, but he's a guy when healthy will step in, get some minutes. So there's really almost too many guys for those positions. I know they'll kind of shift them around. Maggette will play some power forward. CDR has been playing some point guard. So they'll kind of shift them around. But I think there's too many guys who are taking shots, getting touches, stealing away from Salmons. And he's going to go a little higher than where he should actually go based on his production last season.
Yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen in Milwaukee. Yeah. And you mentioned another bust that I feel, and he's on the Bucks team as well, and that's Corey Maggette. Maggette has been known to be a selfish player, somebody that's out to get his own, and that's not going to fit in the Milwaukee Bucks system with Scott Skiles there. So I don't see Maggette getting a lot of playing time there, and I think that he's going to end up in the doghouse, maybe even have to be traded if possible. So Maggette's another person to stay away from, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, Maggette takes bulk shots, too many shots, kind of looks out for his own. Like you said, Skiles probably wouldn't appreciate that as much as, you look at Don Nelson, shoot away. But Skiles he's gonna want to set offense. He's gonna want motion. He's gonna want guys to follow the offensive sets. But Maggette, we saw Brandon Jennings, point guard, got in the doghouse last year, Skiles' doghouse. So, it's not out of the realm that Maggette might get in there as well.
Yeah, Scott Skiles is definitely a hard-headed coach, and is not somebody that he's going to let win the battle. Skiles is going to win the battle. If you're not going to be in his system, you're not going to play much, and we've already seen it with Maggette that he has a difficult time doing that. And another bust, and the reason I say he's a bust is because he's going around the 6th round, which is kind of early, and that's Daniel Gallinari for the New
Yeah.
York Knicks. I mean, I love the guy's shot. He's a great three-point shooter, but he's pretty much one-dimensional. You know, he's known for his three-point shooting, but he doesn't go to the hole well, and I don't expect that to change much this year because they brought in Amari Stoudemire. Now, a lot of people have talked about how Hedo Turkoglu is actually going to be somewhat of a sleeper this year because with Amari Stoudemire gone, it opens up the lane for Turkoglu to go. Well, if you use that argument, Stoudemire is now on the Knicks, possibly clogging the hole for Gallinari. So I don't see him going to the hole and much, if at all, like he should for a 6th round pick.
Yeah, I mean, Gallinari is a guy who really has to step up his game, elevate his game. The expectations are there from fantasy owners, so of course, you're right. When they get drafted in that 5th, 6th round, based on the expectations of building off of last season, there's always a chance he can disappoint. He's a guy who needs to improve his defense a little bit. He was just under a block and a steal, but if he can get up over that block and steal, great value. But again, like you said, it's really the 3-point shooting that people are drafting him for. High efficiency rating from the field goal, 3-point line, free throw line, good free throw shooter. But when you're drafting for that one specific category, you could almost make that argument, yeah, that he could be a bust for that.
Yeah, and at that in the 6th round, and that there's other people that you can draft, maybe like JJ Redick, way late if you really feel the need to fill that 3-point
Right.
shooting position. So, well, I'm Michael Pichan. This is Tom Lorenzo of RotoExperts.com. Please visit us at RotoExpert.com and see some of our other preview videos on all the other positions, including a preview of who to pick at the 1, 2, 3 spots in your fantasy NBA drafts. And we'll see you soon.